Alright, so in my last video we talked about what a featureless rifle is here in the state of California. We went over the pros and cons and why someone might consider going that route for compliance. Well, in today's video we're here to talk about yet another California compliant option, one that I have briefly touched on in past videos here and there, but haven't really gone all in depth, and that would be fixed mag. Now, before I dive into the specific Maglock system we're looking at today, it's important to understand how we even ended up with stuff like this in the first place. And don't worry, I'm not going to bore you or drag you through a full history lesson. I've already covered that in previous videos, so here's a quick rundown. It all pretty much goes back to a series of high-profile shootings and assassinations that pushed the state of California to keep tightening its gun laws. One of the biggest turning points being the Stockton school shooting in 1989, where a gunman used a semi-automatic rifle to take multiple innocent lives, which ultimately led California to pass its first assault weapons ban. Then, over the years, especially after events like the San Bernardino attack in 2015, California kept tightening things up, closing loopholes, and redefining what legally counted as an assault weapon, bringing us to somewhat present-day California, where if a semi-automatic center-fire rifle has certain features like a pistol grip, it can't also have a detachable magazine. So you're basically left with two real options. Well, technically there's always a third, but we're not going to say that one on the internet for obvious legal reasons. The first one is going featureless. With this setup, you can have things like a collapsible stock, flash hiders, vertical foregrips, and most importantly, no standard pistol grip. That's where stuff like the fin grip you've probably seen and thought, what the hell is that, come into play. Now, with a featureless setup, yeah, you're limited on what you can have, but in return, you get your standard mag release back, so you're able to drop magazines like the rest of the country, and from my understanding, you're also allowed to run your legally obtained standard capacity magazines. Now, the second option, and the one we're focusing on today, is fixed mag. Just like the name implies, this is an option that fixes the mag in place, so it can't be removed under normal operation. Here, the only way to remove the magazine is by breaking the action open, and that's where companies like Maglock have stepped in and created a system that does exactly that. So with this setup, as you see, when I try to hit the mag release, nothing happens. And that's of course because it's a fixed mag. So in order to remove it, you first have to break the action open by hitting this little button on the side, also known as the Kingpin. When you press it in, it separates the upper and lower receivers, breaking the action open. Once that happens, you're able to hit your AR Maglock, which now functions as your mag release, allowing your magazines to drop freely. And while that's been a pretty cool system Californians have been using in the past few years to get around the assault weapons ban, companies like Cleverco have taken upon themselves and integrated their own device called the POW system, which mounts directly with the AR Maglock. So instead of having to do two separate stages, first hitting the Kingpin to crack the action open, then pressing the AR Maglock to drop the magazine, this system combines everything into one motion. Simply by hitting the AR Maglock, it's able to do it all, which means you're able to get a much faster and more natural reload sequence, all while staying compliant. Now, why would anyone choose a fixed mag setup like this over just going the featureless route? The answer is pretty simple. You get access to things you can't have on a featureless rifle, like a collapsible stock, flash hider, vertical foregrip, and most importantly, your normal pistol grip. I mean, the grip alone is a huge reason why a lot of people end up going this route, especially when they're first buying an AR. It's really no surprise that a standard pistol grip gives most shooters a much more natural and comfortable feel on the AR platform compared to something like a featureless grip. And for a lot of people, that comfort and recognition is worth dealing with some of the downsides that come with a fixed mag setup. One that everyone brings up is having a slower reload speed. But as I just showed, with a little bit of practice with the standard AR Maglock system or paired with a POW system, you're pretty much able to reload at nearly normal speed. So it's honestly not that big of a deal as some people make it out to be. Another con used to be clear malfunctions, and I say used to for a reason. With these new AR Maglock systems, you are able to use your bolt catch so you can pull the charging handle back, lock the bolt in place, hit the AR Maglock, drop the magazine, and clear everything out without it being a complete nightmare. Now, the biggest con in my personal opinion is the fact that with a fixed mag setup, you are limited to 10 round magazines. Now, personally, I don't find this to be a huge deal when it comes to training because realistically, I'm not out here mag dumping with my standard capacity magazines. Not only can I not afford that, I just think it's a waste of rounds unless it's implemented throughout multiple drills. So if anything, I get more value out of training with my 10 round magazines because I can do more drills and implement some reload sequences. And on top of that, I don't mind beating the hell out of these and being aggressive during training because I can just order more 10 round magazines. But that said, this still remains a con for people who want to run a fixed mag setup as a home defense option, where you might want more than 10 rounds available. That's where these magazine couplers have become super popular within fixed mag setups. Basically, it's two 10 round magazines attached together, so in the rare situation where you have to grab your rifle and don't have time to grab a spare mag, you essentially got 20 rounds. Which, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this particular coupler, mainly because it's a bit awkward to switch around. But I get why people like them. It's a solid idea. It just takes some practice to reload. So other than that, there really aren't too many cons to stress over when it comes to running a fixed mag setup. Yeah, there are trade-offs like reload speed and capacity, but with these newer systems out there and a little bit of training, most of those issues can either be worked around or flat out minimized. So if you're in the state of California and you want to run a rifle or even an AR pistol in its most standard configuration with a standard pistol grip, collapsible stock and all that, then a fixed mag is honestly the way to go. So that's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe. Also, if you're interested in seeing some CCW drills, make sure to check out my Instagram at ShadowTheWicked. Also, if you want to get in contact with me, that's a great place. But other than that, hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe and God bless.